5 reasons that might prove we are living in a simulation. Have you ever wondered if the reality we perceive is actually a computer-generated simulation? This idea, known as the simulation hypothesis, has been explored by philosophers, scientists, science fiction writers for decades.
Right now, we're inside a computer program?
Is it really so hard to believe?
Some have even proposed arguments and evidence that suggest we are indeed living in a virtual world. Falls under fair use as it's a parody. If you don't have a sense of humor, go. Welcome. Is this my reality? Is this your reality?
That as computing power and progress in artificial intelligence grows.
Number 1, the simulation hypothesis. The most famous argument for the simulation hypothesis was proposed by the philosopher Nick Bostrom in 2003. He argued that one of the following 3 propositions must be true. Number 1, almost all civilizations at our level of development go extinct before they become technologically mature. They probably blow themselves up like looks like we're gonna. Number 2, almost all technologically mature civilizations have no interest in creating or running ancestor simulations, simulations of their evolutionary history or variations thereof. And number 3, we are almost certainly living in an ancestor simulation. Bostrom claimed that if 1 and 2 are false, then number 3 is very likely to be true. He based his argument on the assumption that a technologically mature civilization would have enormous computing power and could create many realistic simulations of their ancestors. He also assumed that we have no way of knowing whether we are in a simulation or not. Therefore, he concluded that we should assign a high probability to the possibility that we are living in a simulation. Support this channel. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell. Otherwise, I might make you watch that last Matrix movie, and you know what a hunk of shit that was. Number 2, the simulation paradox. Another fact that might indicate that we are living in a simulation is the simulation paradox. This is the paradox that arises from the assumption that a technologically advanced civilization will create many simulations of their ancestors and that these simulations would be indistinguishable from reality. The paradox is that if the assumption is true, then we should expect to find evidence of these simulations in our own reality, such as glitches, maybe the Mandela effect, anomalies, I cannot say that word, or messages from the simulators. However, we really haven't found conclusive evidence of such phenomenon, which could mean that either we are not living in a simulation and we're the base reality, or that the simulation is so perfect we can't even detect it. That creeps me out a little bit, not gonna lie. And the number 3 reason we might be living in a simulated reality is quantum weirdness. And this is pretty weird, hence the name. Another fact that may indicate we're living in a simulation is the quantum weirdness. This is the term used to describe the strange and counterintuitive phenomena that occur at the subatomic level, such as wave-particle duality, the uncertainty principle, the entanglement, and the collapse of wave function. These phenomena defy the common sense and the classical physics that we are used to. And they suggest that the reality we observe is not the ultimate reality, but rather a projection of a deeper and more fundamental level of existence. Some physicists have speculated that this deeper level could be a digital code or a computational algorithm that simulates our reality. An example of this that you can do, it's an experiment, you can do it over and over again, is wave-particle duality. We're talking about the double-slit experiment. What is the double-slit experiment? Well, it shows that particles behave differently when observed, suggesting we may be living in a simulation. Let's talk about light. Light displays wave-particle duality and changes in behavior when observed. Think of it like this. It's very similar to how a video game only renders objects when the player interacts with them, suggesting we may be living in a simulation. Physicist Niels Bohr proposed that particles, like photons, don't have definite properties until they're observed. And when we measure or observe the particle, we force it to choose a definite state, behaving like particles. But no one knows why observing a particle causes its behavior to change. The double-slit experiment suggests our world could be programmed, and there are many perplexing puzzles, such as the behavior of particles. Number 4, Ancestor Simulators. This one really got me thinking. Computers now process huge amounts of data, and some of the most intense and productive tasks involve simulations. Simulations consider multiple variables and use artificial intelligence to analyze them and examine the outcomes. Some simulations are games. Some are models of real-life situations, such as the spread of disease. Some are history simulators, which can be games or can mimic real-life growth of a society over time. That's how simulations run now. But computers, they keep getting faster and faster. Processing power is doubled periodically for decades. The computers 50 years from now may well be millions of times more powerful than anything we have today. Better computers would bring much bigger and better computer simulators, including history simulators. If computers get powerful enough, they will create history simulations so real that the self-aware beings within them would have no idea that they were part of a program. Think that's too far out there? Get this, Harvard's Odyssey supercomputer can already simulate 14 billion years in only a few months. Imagine where this technology is going. Number 5, Bostrom's trilemma. Another fact that might suggest we're living in a simulation is the Bostrom's trilemma. This is a logical dilemma that follows from the simulation argument. A dilemma is we have to accept one of the following 3 options. Option A, we are living in a simulation. Option B, we are living in a base reality, the original and non-simulated reality, which would make us pretty special. Option C, we are living in a post-human reality, a reality where humans have transcended their biological limitations and become godlike beings. Bostrom and many others since have argued that option A, we are living in a simulation, is most likely the one, based on the assumption that there are many more simulated realities than base realities, and that we have no reason to think that we are special or privileged to live in a base reality. And so says you. However, the critics have challenged this assumption and argued that option B, we are living in a base reality, or C, we are living in a post-human reality, could be more plausible. This is based on ethical, technical, and metaphysical reasons that could prevent or limit the creation of such simulations. Another fact that might support the simulation hypothesis is the glitch in the matrix theory. This is the term used to describe the unusual and inexplicable events that occur in our reality every day, such as deja vu, the synchronicity, the coincidence, the precognition, and the paranormal and or supernatural. These events could be interpreted as errors or bugs in the simulation that we are living in, or as messages, clues, or tests from the simulators. Some people have claimed to have experienced or witnessed such events, and some have even tried to document them or find patterns in them. Philosophers as far back as Plato millennia ago speculated that we may not be real at all. With the advent of computers, this idea took on a new life, especially in recent years, with films like Inception, Dark City, the Matrix trilogy. Is it possible that the world is just a computer simulation? Think about this. You don't even have proof that you exist, at least the person that you imagine you are. We think that the past has happened because we have memories and because of records like photos and books. But what if it all is just freshly written code? What if your life was turned on the last time you blinked your eyes? The disturbing thing, and it does disturb me, is that it's impossible to prove or disprove. That is kind of creepy, not gonna lie. So what say you? Are we living in the base reality, or are we living in a simulation or something else? Leave a comment down below. Hey, let's get the fuck out of here. Go watch the Matrix movies. I'll get takeout.